Hello guys, welcome back to the FPL Consult channel and welcome to the Game Week 21 deadline stream. So, there's lots of things again in terms of injuries to discuss. A couple of updates as well. I also realized the lighting is making my face very red. I'm not sure if I'm able to adjust the lighting, but bear with me. I think I'll be changing setup pretty soon. But yeah, lots of things to discuss for today's stream. Hope you guys are strapped in. We're gonna go on for about an hour or so, answer some of your questions, share with you guys a transfer that I've already made, which is to bring Gabriel in. And I didn't sell Van Dijk to get Gabriel. I decided to sell Anderson instead. So I'll talk through the reasons why I've done that. And yeah, pretty much we'll just discuss my team and then get to your questions, and that should be about it for today. How are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat. Let's say hi to some of you guys as well just before we get started. Very nice to see a member in the chat. Andrew says, good luck everyone. I've gone rogue, not waiting on the one good fixture for Ekitike, so took him out for Richarlison. Interesting. That is an interesting one, I have to say, taking a punt on Richarlison. He wouldn't be the first name that comes to mind in terms of punts for forwards, though. Even though in the forward positions, it is pretty thin in terms of options. VJ says, hi all, from a frostbitten Watford, home of the mighty Hornets. How's it? I think it's really cold in the UK now, if I got it correct. I checked the weather forecast there a couple of days ago. And yeah, it seems like it's snowing in some parts as well. So yeah, I think this is usually the period of time where fingers crossed, right? But some fixture postponements do actually happen because of bad weather. So let's see what happens. Stuel14 says, Felices, Felicitas from Barcelona. Don says, I'm going to bench TK more likely, so I do pots. So do I do pots to Rogers so I don't have to start Richard / Anderson, or pots if I didn't do the move? Pots to Rogers. I think I would. I think the thing with Rogers, though, is that the main reason why I moved for him last week was because he had that Nottingham Forest fixture. And then when you add that to Crystal Palace and Everton, at least it was a decent enough window to bring him in. So I got him for Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, and then Everton. But if you bring him in now, you're getting him for Palace, Everton, and then he runs into Newcastle, Brentford, and then Bournemouth. I guess it's still all right. I mean, with the form that Aston Villa are in, I think that could still work out. But yeah, if you're bringing him in so that you can bench Ekitike, I think it is probably worth it, because Ekitike, in my opinion, wouldn't start this week. That's my thought. I mean, what we read from Arne Slot was that it is not conclusive, but what he said was that if a player wasn't able to play over the weekend, would he be able to play in 4 days' time on Thursday? So that's pretty much the update that we got, which is obviously not conclusive, not helpful at all. But yeah, he's second on my bench. Even though I think he really should be first. So let me just switch that around, because I do think like in terms of my own team setup as well, because I've brought Gabriel in now, which I'll talk about in a bit. But because I've brought Gabriel in, I think I may as well just go full on, all in on Arsenal. I'm already tripled up on them. I may as well just go for all these Arsenal assets in my starting 11. Hope they do a good job against Liverpool, which at this point in time seems like it is doable, because Liverpool are struggling for sure, and Arsenal still look very, very, very good. So yeah, double defense, and then go for both of my Liverpool players on the bench. I think there are some people who kind of question as well whether we should be starting Ekitike even though he's yellow flagged. for me, it's just about not wanting to hedge. Like I see no reason why. And in fact, who would I bench? Like I'd rather play Anderson against West Ham instead of Ekitike. I also prefer to play, Dorgu instead of Van Dijk. So honestly, who would I bench in this spot? Yeah, I'm happy enough to just go with this 11. So just to cover a bit of the moves that I've made as well, what I've done is to sell Anderson and go for Gabriel. Now, why I did not sell Van Dijk instead, because now looks like an opportune moment to hop off Van Dijk as well because he has Arsenal. I didn't sell Van Dijk because I want him for the Burnley game. I mean, I get that some people aren't waiting for that. They're just going to sell him right now. That's perfectly fine. Some even sold him last week or the week before. That's okay. For myself and my team, I think looking at game week 22, Liverpool players against Burnley at home could be a bit of a differential. I'm not saying that they're going to absolutely tear Burnley to shreds. I think it's, possible that they even struggle a little bit there. I do see that happening. But Liverpool players against Burnley, I feel, would be a little bit more of a differential, given that some people, even this week, have sold Ekitike. So I'm trying to find ways to go a little bit different. That has worked out so far in the past few weeks. I mean, I've been doing okay. So I'm hoping that with another one of these kind of moves where I try to be a little bit different, hold on to Liverpool assets instead of offloading them right away, I can gain a bit more rank as well. But yeah, keeping both Liverpool players means that I have to sell Anderson because Anderson plays Chelsea. I'm okay to offload Fulham assets as well. Go for Gabriel, who is someone I definitely want in the long term. Now, I was deciding between Gabriel and also Tarkowski or Michael Keane. Basically, the Everton assets versus going for Gabriel. One of the good things about going for Gabriel is that I know longer term I will want him in my team regardless. The thing with Tarkowski or Michael Keane is that yes, the Everton fixtures shorter term are okay, but I think longer term I'm not super sure whether I want Everton assets. And if I delay bringing in a defender to about game week 23 or game week 24, suddenly that shifts from, instead of wanting someone like Tarkowski, I probably want someone like Chalobah by the time that comes around when the Chelsea fixtures get really good. So with that in mind, I've just decided to go for Gabriel, buy a bit more time for me to decide who I actually want as my Van Dijk replacement once I sell him after Burnley. Yeah, so basically, I've just decided to give myself a bit more time to think, and yeah, I've just gone for Gabriel. Even though he plays Liverpool, I mean, we all know what Gabriel is capable of. I'm not worried at all. Even if he concedes a goal, he's very capable of scoring a set piece, and you've seen how many set pieces Liverpool has conceded this season. So, okay, enough rambling. That's my team. Captaincy for now, still on Haaland. I think we can talk about captaincy in a bit as well. But let's quickly get to some of your questions. If not, I'm going to bore you guys to death. Henry, nice to see you in the chat. Excuse me. Henry says, should I keep Ekitike? What do you think about Amorim's sacking? I think Amorim's sacking, honestly, I wasn't expecting it at all. I have Dorgu as well. I wasn't expecting Amorim to be sacked. But then again, I'm also not super surprised because it's been a long time coming that Manchester United just have not impressed under Amorim. They've never really looked like going on a run that, made them a formidable side under Amorim. So I guess I kind of see it as well, but I think it was more accelerated by the fact that he gave that quite fiery press conference after the match, the post-match interview. So yeah, I mean it is what it is. He's now gone. I think there's an interim manager, Darren Fletcher, as well, slotting in. There's lots of other candidates that seem to be up for caretaker manager for this part of the season until the end. I've seen like even Solskjaer being linked to the club again. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But in terms of Dorgu as a very, very short-term option, in terms of whether he'll start against Burnley, I would say yes. I think he will. Do you think it is worth taking a -4 hit for Raya to Sanchez and do Szoboszlai to Rice? I think not this week. Not this week is what I'd say. Solanke's back in training. Richarlison is not a good punt. I seem to think so as well, but Solanke just has not played much minutes at all. I still think maybe shorter term in the next maybe 3 to 4 fixtures, Richarlison probably still starts. But yeah, there's always a chance with someone like Solanke that if he's able to string some starts together, maybe he comes in. Breeder Wong says, I have Raya Timber, Tarkowski, Virgil, Anderson, Saka, Foden, Cunha, Calvert-Lewin, Thiago, and Haaland. 2 free transfers. What would you recommend? Backline is fine except for Virgil. Who do you have on the bench? So Anderson, Saka, Foden, Cunha, and Calvert-Lewin, Thiago, Haaland. Those are fine. It's more maybe defensive transfers that you're looking at because you're playing Van Dijk against Arsenal. Not ideal. Joshua E says, hi Leon, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Haven't caught you in a while. Would you play O'Reilly or Wirtz? The thing with O'Reilly, which is interesting, is that I felt like I was gonna sell him pretty soon, but now with the injuries, like Ruben Diaz having a bit of hamstring issue, Vardiol fracturing his fibula, if I'm not wrong. So basically, they're both out for quite a while. It only just means that O'Reilly's minutes is even more secure now. That maybe I don't have to sell him. There's not a lot of first team defenders that are available now, which is a good and a bad thing. The good thing is that O'Reilly's minutes are better than it was before. And the bad thing is that the defense is just not as solid. They're probably going to play something like Kusanov and Ake in defense, center of defense, and that just not does not give me a lot of confidence. But at least I can keep O'Reilly for now. So in terms of playing O'Reilly or Wirtz, it seems crazy to be benching someone like Wirtz. I probably will start Wirtz, I probably will start Wirtz ahead of O'Reilly. Yeah. It is close though, that one. Thank you very much for the super chat. Mark, he says, Saka to Palmer and thoughts on Cunha captain. For Saka to Palmer, I would say that this week is an okay week to do it. There is just a bit of risk. I've seen a couple of people make this move. My issue with it is I don't know for sure how Palmer is going to be used under the new manager. Liam Rossignol, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Ideally, he gets lots of minutes, and I think you would be going early if you do it now. In a sense where by the time game week 24 comes around, everyone would want Palmer, assuming he starts week in, week out. I've had a look at his minutes for the past few weeks as well. What I realized is that he actually hasn't played a 90-minute game before the Manchester City game last week in game week 20. So before that, it was all pretty much 60 minutes, 70 minutes. He never really crossed, 80 minutes. So I would be wary. But then again, high risk, high reward. If he, pops off, you would be going early. And I think, honestly, going now in game week 21 is really fine because he's past his most difficult fixture, which is the Man City one. So I can see the appeal. And I also think it's an okay moment to hop off Saka. I honestly don't think Saka is worth that value. I made that comment maybe a couple of weeks ago when I sold him for Rice. That has worked out quite well. I think even better than I expected. So we got a bit lucky there in terms of replacing Rice with Saka. I didn't expect Rice to go on to score 2 goals against Bournemouth. I'll hold my hands up for that one. But I think overall, when we're getting a player like Saka, for example, he needs to be captain material. And at this point, even when I captain Saka, I'm not convinced that he's going to take penalties. And is that really justified for me to pay 10.5 million for Saka? As compared to Palmer, the only issue with Palmer is minutes. If he gets good minutes, he will be on penalties if he's on the pitch. Then he does become a captain option in some weeks. So that for me is the slight difference. And I think why Palmer is worth that price tag, and that's why Saga to Palmer is worth it. I think you do it now. The long and short of it is, I think it works. Thoughts on Cunha captain? He wouldn't be my first choice. I think first choice for me is still Haaland. But yeah, I mean, Manchester United potentially, new manager bounce. Let's see if you want to go and take a risk there. That's fine. VJ, thank you very much for the donation as well. You're an absolute legend. Okay, I'm gonna have to speed through some of the chats. Raya versus Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, I'm not making any, keeper transfers. The Pepfectionist. That's interesting. Says team is Raya, Virgil van Dijk, Anderson, Gabriel, Semenyo Cunha for instance. Which player should I get? I think you probably are in need of some midfield transfers. So I'd look at, I mean, Foden is fine, Cunha is fine, Semenyo, I guess, arguably is okay. He's going to get his last game now in Game Week 21 for Bournemouth. I wouldn't be so happy to start someone like Stack. So I look at some midfield transfers for yourself. I think players you could look at, Bruno Guimaraes, Rodgers, those are players you could look at in terms of the midfielders. But yeah, even your defense as well seems like it needs some transfers because you're playing Van Dijk and then you have Gabriel and you're also playing Anderson against Chelsea. So looking at it, I probably prioritize some defensive transfers for your team. If you're looking at defenders this week, it's Everton defenders that people are buying. I like the Wolves fixture. Just bear in mind, I don't think longer term you would keep them in the team. For myself, I haven't gone for someone like Tarkowski because I think longer term, the player I want is Gabriel over Tarkowski. So yeah, some defenders I'd prioritize over getting the Everton boys. G Tan says, hi Leon, do you think Foden still justifies his price? I think just about, because he's not. A couple of reasons why I think he still justifies his price. He's not super duper expensive. He's not like Saka kind of expensive. He's around 8-ish million, and that's okay for. He's blanked for a couple of weeks. I fully get that. He will have Wolves soon. I checked the fixtures a couple of days ago. Yeah, he will have Wolves in Game Week 23. I'm not sure if you can. Let me just check if you guys can see this. Yes, so he has Wolves in Game Week 23. So it's this one. After that, in Game Week 24, he has Spurs. And then in Game Week 25, he has Liverpool. For me, after Foden plays Wolves in Game Week 23, he is very likely for me going to be sold to Cole Palmer. So Foden is my route to Cole Palmer. And my whole objective for the next few weeks is just getting enough money in the bank to do Foden to Cole Palmer. And also obviously assess if Cole Palmer is someone I indeed want by the time Game Week 24 comes around. So I'll be looking at his minutes. I'll be looking at how often he plays. Is he in good form, etc. Before I make that move. But yeah, all of my kind of plans align to get Foden out for Palmer. Sebastian says, can Man City hold well in defense after the centre-back injuries? I have Nunes. I think having Nunes is probably Matheus Nunes obviously is very, very safe. I mean, even when they come, the only issue is I don't think it's as strong. So obviously I don't think defensively they're going to be as good. So you probably, I mean, I would never say that it's a must to sell City. I mean, to sell someone like Nunes, even with Kuzhinov or Ake in centre back, I still feel like because of how we expect Man City to play and hold lots of possession against opposition teams, yes, defensive is still important, but I think they could nick clean sheets still in the next few games, even without players like Ruben Diaz or Vardiol. I wouldn't put it past them. So Nunes for me is definitely not a urgent sell. He's more like a wait and see, hold, and even just start. Yeah. Any news is if Ekitike is even on the bench. No news at all, unfortunately. Thank you very much. Good luck for Gaming21 as well. FPL Bamba. AA Ong says, hi FPL Consult. Start Lacroix or Senesi. I want to say Lacroix. I mean, Palace against Aston Villa. Bournemouth against Spurs. To be fair, I looked at the odds just now. Bournemouth actually have okay odds against Spurs. But I'd probably say Lacroix. It's against Aston Villa though. It's a 50-50 though, this one. It's kind of flip a coin territory, to be honest. Would you start Krupi or Ekitike? I would probably start Ekitike. I mean, I'm not confident Krupi actually starts for Bournemouth. So he's probably the kind, if he didn't get a return against Arsenal last week, he would be like on a 1-pointer. So as for Ekitike, if he's fit, he starts. He gets good minutes as well. So yeah, I probably start Ekitike ahead of Krupi, but you may just get Krupi off the bench because I don't expect Ekitike to start. Best goalkeeper to buy for the upcoming fixtures, I want to say Sanchez. I know he's yellow flagged, but I think he'll be fine. Is Gabriel essential? Should I go from Saka to Rice to get Gabriel? Saka to Rice. Let me just be because I've received a couple of questions on Saka to Rice. I'll just put my thoughts out there that I think there will never be a good time. You will never find a justified time to do it. Even the week that I did it, which was I think 3 weeks ago, it didn't actually feel super justified as well. But sometimes I think even these kind of sideways moves that feel like a bit of a luxury has to be made if we feel like the player that you're selling is not justifying the price tag. And if that is the case, then I guess in some sense it makes it worth it as well, right? So long and short of it is I would do Saka to Rice. That's the long and short of it. Right, going to speed through a couple of questions. If I miss any of your questions, just please help me out, drop it in again. Satyaki says, hi Leon, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Help me decide to bench 2 players out of Chalaba, Paqueta, Ekitike, Timber, and Xhaka. Okay. I think you probably could bench Ekitike and Xhaka. Yeah, and then I start Paqueta, but you don't really know if Paqueta will start. I think he's kind of in the region of players that if he's fit he'll play, if he isn't he won't. So that's why I'd be starting Paqueta ahead of Xhaka. But yeah, so I'd be benching a TK as well as Xhaka. Okay, let me speed through a couple of questions. Happy New Year to you as well. Busk John, he says, start 2, Lacroix, Elderete, Anderson from Fulham, Wilson and Ekitike. Start 2. I'd say Wilson. He's in really good form right now. I'd say Wilson and one of the defenders, probably Lacroix. Yeah, probably Lacroix. Can we aim for 50 likes? I've gone through, how long have I gone through? I've gone through 30 minutes and haven't asked for a like at all. So if you guys are watching, you're enjoying the stream, please help me out. Help the channel out as well and drop a like on the stream. That would be very, very much appreciated if you could do that. We are on kind of 26 likes. Could we get up to 50 likes? Could we get up to 50 likes? That would be very much appreciated. Okay. Do you think Bruno Guimarães' minutes are at risk with the cup games next week? I think he is, honestly. I think Bruno Guimarães is too important to the team for them to be benching him, now and then. I honestly think that he'll start. At most, if they're doing well, they're kind of, leading the game by quite a margin, then I think he could be taken off early. It's possible. He's played a lot of minutes, I'll admit that. Dorgu or Calvert-Lewin, what's the best Arsenal triple up? Dorgu or Calvert-Lewin, I would say Calvert-Lewin. What's the best... Sorry, if you meant this week... This week is tricky. I think this week I would still go Dorgu. I can't see past the Burnley fixture, to be honest. What's the best Arsenal triple up? I would say it's Rice, Timber, and Gabriel. If Foden blanks again this game week, he goes out. Fair enough. I'll be waiting until the Wolves game, I think. I just have too many other issues to deal with. Like transfers-wise, my next move is still going to be a defensive transfer. Unfortunately, that's just the state of my defense. Good thing is I'm happy with the attack, though. I'm happy with a lot of the players that I've chosen to keep. VJ says membership. VJ is a legend. He's plugging memberships as well. I haven't really spoken much about memberships this season, but if you want to become a member, there are lots of perks as well. There's quite a few members that we've had in the since the start of the season that we've been in a Telegram group chat just for members, and it's kind of very close-knit community. And yeah, it's about I think 50 to 70 of us, 50 to 60 of us that are in there chatting FPL, and yeah, just having a good time. So if you guys are keen on that, you could always check out the join button next to the subscribe button on desktop. If not, if you're on mobile, there's a link in the description, if I'm not wrong. Thank you very, very much for all the likes. I've just checked and we are at 46 likes. That's incredible. Thank you for helping me out. We're actually just 4 likes away from 50, so apologies for that. Excuse me. Hi Leon, who would you start? Anderson or Mukiele? Both are DEFCON monsters. I would say Mukiele. Sunderland have greater clean sheet odds than Fulham this week. Transfers are Voltemade to Mane or Krupi to Van Heck. Mane or Krupi and Van Heck to Gabriel. Are these good? Or Mane or Krupi? Also, Mane or Krupi a better choice? I would say between the two, I'd go for Mane. And are those transfers good? I would say yes. Voltemade is a bit of a risk right now. He's not starting games, which is a little bit puzzling as well. And Van Heck to Gabriel is okay. Enzo as a Minte replacement. I've read this a couple of places too. I would say I'm still not fully convinced on Enzo just yet. Because the reason why we went for Enzo was that he was going to be on pens, because at that point, Cole Palmer wasn't fit and João Pedro was being taken off around the 60th, 70th minute. And therefore, he will have a good chunk of minutes being on penalty. So overall, him as an FPL pick at that point in time made it worth it. Now Palmer's back. Enzo has been playing deeper, I think, and yeah, it's just for me a wait and see is what I'd say. Firm believer of 3-5-2 every game week. What's your thoughts? I focus on 2 pure attacking midfielders and 3 all-rounders with defensive contributions. So there's been quite a big debate in terms of the best formation, because I think a lot of people think that, I mean, some are even entertaining a one up front with Haaland before this game week. Like game week 20, there was a huge discourse going on Twitter about whether we should just go with, like a 4-5-1 kind of formation for the rest of the season. That one being Haaland, of course. But now I think after Thiago scored lots of goals in game week 20, that discussion has changed for game week 21. I'm seeing more 3-5-2s. I think overall what I'd say is just at different points of the season, there will be different formations that work, because different players have good fixtures, different players come into form at different times. So I'd say I don't try to think too much as to what is the best formation. I try to look at, more player specific decisions rather than what formation do I want to play. So basically, for example, do I think Thiago over the next few game weeks? Essentially, I have a 3 up front now because I have Ekitike is on the bench. But honestly, I ask myself, how long will I be with a 3-4-3 formation? As soon as the Liverpool Burnley game is over, I immediately switch to a 2 up front because I don't think I want to spend so much money on Ekitike. And then it'll take quite a bit for me to sell Thiago. I think he's quite worth the money. He plays 90 minutes. He's on penalties, getting good goals as well. So yeah, for me, I think foreseeable future, I will still be on a 3-5-2. And then yeah, I mean, if moving forward it becomes a 4-5-1, that's fine as well. Ricky says start Roofs or Dubravka. I would say Roofs. Hi from Zimbabwe. What's your thoughts on Foden captain? He has a really good record against them. I've seen that. I'm just not the kind to not captain a penalty taker, So for me it's Haaland. Yeah. The maximum I'd do is just vice captain Foden. Elderete, Wilson, Senesi, Paqueta, start 2. I would start Wilson and Senesi. I start this 2. Because I don't think Paqueta is going to... I think among the 3, it's Wilson and Senesi for me. On a free hit, choose 3 of Palmer, Foden, Cunha, and Semenyo. I would say Palmer, Cunha, and Foden. The goal is 15k subscribers before Easter. We're gonna try. That is indeed the goal though. 15k subscribers by the end of the season. So let's hope we can get there. Unfortunately, I've not been able to put out much videos over the festive period. Just unfortunately, like work and too much commitments in my personal life. So I think now that it's kind of, we're kind of in the new year already. And I think hopefully work would be all right. So I do expect videos to come back for game week 22. So yeah, hopefully I'll get some videos out for you guys. I apologize for the lack of content. But yeah, hopefully as more videos go out, then we'll continue to grow the channel. One free transfer, Gehi to Theo or Tarkovsky, or roll and play Anderson, but have Ekitike and not a great bench. I make the move. I do Gehi to Theo instead of Tarkovsky. Rogers or Bruno Guimaraes to replace Minte. Rogers seems like the better pick, but I don't know who's better. I would say that shorter term, Bruno Guimaraes is better. Longer term, I'd say Rogers is better. Activated my free hit because I accidentally sold Gehi instead of Virgil van Dijk. So for my free hit, am I weird to avoid Everton defense because I see they left a lot of big gaps for Brentford to exploit, and I don't think Sunderland will. In terms of Everton defense, when they play Wolves, I would definitely have some form of Everton defensive asset. I think the bigger question is whether you double up or not. I don't think doubling up is necessary if you feel this way, so you can just go with one. I would at least have one, and it'd probably be Tarkowski. Start Soboslai Ekitike. I would start Soboslai. Ekitike, I'm not sure he'll start. What do you think of Minte to Grealish? I'll be honest, I don't actually think that Grealish... I didn't think that Grealish would be that good of a pick because I honestly did not feel like players like Barry would be able to put the ball back in the net. I was obviously proven very wrong. But my question would then be, how often can they keep that up? Because Jack Grealish is not a goal scorer. He's more a chance creator. And he gets more assist points instead of goals. So I would say, for me, I would still not go for Jack Grealish. I don't think he's an avoid. But he's just not up there. He's not very high up my, players to transfer in. VJ says 51 likes and counting. Let me have a look. He's talking about a membership giveaway as well. We're at 57 likes. Thank you very much for everyone who's liked as well. I think we're kind of hitting a bit of a milestone here, I think. So thank you all for liking, appreciate that. Ramadian says Raya, Gabriel, Senesi, Keane, Darlow, Foden. Tavernier, Garner, Grealish. Nah. I wouldn't do the Tavernier move. I say Senesi to Theo. I think I would make that move. K7, nice to see you in the chat. I think Zorafax, I think I answered that question already. Billy Hartono says, hi Leon, start 3 out of Virgil, Senesi, Alderete, Soboslai, and Anderson. I start Anderson. I start Soboslai and Senesi. Bench 1, Soboslai or O'Reilly. I would bench Soboslai. Start O'Reilly. Rogers, I've answered this one as well. Ekitike will start, FYI. Will he? It's just -8 worth it. Nkapi, Minte, King, and Ekitike to Chalobah, Rice, Bruno Guimaraes, and Obi. -8. I mean, I'd say yes because the players that you're selling aren't. Most of them aren't even gonna start. So yeah, I'd say yes. Lionel, nice to have you in the chat. It says bench 1, Semenyo or Wilson. I would say bench Wilson, start Semenyo. I rate Semenyo more as a pick now over Wilson, but Semenyo will be leaving soon to Man City. This likely would be his last game, I think, game week 21. Would you go a week early Raya to Sanchez to beat the price drop? No, I don't. Okay, it depends. It depends on your longer term strategy. I think if at the end of the day you are still going to do Raya to Sanchez, whether it's this week or next week. I think there's no harm bringing it forward, especially now that Raya has Liverpool. So yeah, I take it back. I think Raya to Sanchez could be worth it this week. $58 likes now. Oh, around 67 likes. That's insane. I've just seen it around 67 likes. Thank you very, very much for that. Appreciate it. Senesi, Dalo, Timber. Choose 2 to bench. Sorry, choose 2, bench 1. I read that wrong. I would bench Senesi then. I start Dalo and Timber. Shane says, morning Leon, any news on Keenan Dewsbury Hall? Congrats on the like milestone, well deserved. Thank you very much. News on Keenan Dewsbury Hall, not fit is the news. Like, he's not coming back yet. Julian says, how about playing Lionel Redknapp in? Very, very nice. Nice to have you in the chat as well, Julian. Bench 1, Alderete, Tavernier, or Ekitike. I honestly don't think Ekitike starts, to be honest. And even if he starts, he plays Arsenal. Okay, I'll kind of walk through the logic as to why I benched Ekitike. It's mainly because I have double Arsenal defense. So I think the conversation is different. If you only have one Arsenal defender, you could then hedge by playing Ekitike. And then either ways, I mean, if Liverpool scores, you expect Ekitike to get a return. If he doesn't, and you expect Liverpool not to score, then Gabriel gets a clean sheet. You kind of hedge your bets there. I have both Raya and Gabriel, so I think I should just go all in and bench Ekitike to get maximum returns. So it depends. Basically, it depends. Whether you bench Ekitike depends on that. And yeah, between Alderete and Tavernier, I prefer Tavernier. So if it comes down to those two, then I choose Tavernier ahead of Alderete. Will you use your last transfer for Mainhay to Enzo or just start Timber? I just start Timber. Thanks. Chalobah or Theo better? Put it this way, I think Theo is a shorter term pick than Chalobah. From game week 24 onwards, Chelsea go on this insane run. But you'll be bearing with slightly tougher fixtures over these next maybe 2 to 3 game weeks. Then it gets good. So it depends. Do you need this defender for the long term or just the short term? Billy says you're a Chelsea fan, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I am indeed. What do you think of the new manager? Will he ruin the good run of fixture Chelsea has? It is something that I thought about as well. What the impact will be. I'm actually more concerned about how he uses Cole Palmer and also whether it'll affect Chalobah's minutes if he decides to shake up the defense a little bit. Because I've been wanting to go for Chalobah once the Chelsea fixtures turn. So I think the good thing about, not going for any of these players right now, whether it's, Chalobah or Cole Palmer, is that it allows me to just see a couple of games how the new manager utilizes the players in the team. And I mean, I expect that if he starts out with, a team that is similar to what Enzo Maresca started out with, and if they do well, I think he probably will keep that same. I mean, it was a well-functioning side. Like, we were a well-functioning side. We won trophies. We didn't have major issues. I honestly did not understand the sacking, and I still don't understand. So yeah, I don't see a reason why he has to come in and absolutely shake things up. So I'm hoping that he keeps things the same and that it wouldn't affect Palmer and Chalobah's minutes. So yeah, if I'm to make a prediction though, I think we'll continue to do well because the team, as it is a well-oiled machine for now. So yeah. Ramadian says, thanks, Leon. Saw some sleepless Indonesians here. Yeah, I think we do have a couple of Indonesian people in the chat. So shout out to you guys as well. Thank you for joining, even though it's super late. We probably will be ending the stream in about 5 minutes as well. So if I've missed your questions, I apologize. Drop it in the chat once again. I'm going to do some quick fire answers before we call it a day. Voltamata or Vissa, who will be starting? I think Vissa's started the last few. And to be fair as well, I don't honestly understand why Voltamata has just suddenly been benched. My guess is that Voltamata will start, but he's a bit too risky now. He's a little bit too risky for me to be comfortable taking that risk. Patrick says, hi Leon, would you say I could take it to Thiago or roll? Or roll and play Timber against Liverpool? I would roll because, okay, so that it would only be worth it if you roll and he starts against Burnley, because after that, I don't think you would want Ekitike in your team anymore. So it's kind of risk appetite, and what do you think his minutes will be this week against Arsenal, and also what his minutes will be next week against Burnley. More importantly, what his minutes will be against Burnley. If you think he'll start the Burnley game, then I think you keep him and you play Timber. If it's the other way around, then I think you sell him and do Ekitike to Thiago. Should I bench Voltamata or Anderson versus West Ham? I think you have to start Voltamata if you have him in your team and you're not intending to sell him. Is Anderson to Dorgu worth it? Not this week, for sure. Not this week. And honestly, I wouldn't be moving from Manchester United players anymore, even Cunha, because the fixtures start to turn a little bit. And it's a very short-term punt. Like, you're looking at just this Burnley game, and that's it. How about Sanchez? Do you think the new manager will keep him as the starter? I would say yes. I'd say yes. Both in my team, other attackers are Haaland and Thiago. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think if you have Voltamata, I think you start him. Wirtz or Wilson or defender Anderson? It'd be between Wirtz or Wilson. And I probably will start Wirtz. FPL Shane says, thanks, Leon. Start Alisson or Dubravka. Ooh. I do foresee Alisson having to make lots of saves though. I still say, I mean, just about Alisson. Like, the Burnley defense is, I mean, against Manchester United, I don't think, even with how poorly Manchester United are playing, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think you have to start him though. Like, if he plays Leeds, I find it very hard to bench Voltamata if you're not starting him. All right. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you all of you guys for liking as well. We're ending the stream on about 70 likes, so that's quite insane. Thank you all for that. We will be back with content, back with videos for Game Week 22 onwards. So do keep a lookout for that. I'm excited for that as well. Videos will finally be back on the channel. I apologize for the lack of content again. And yeah, for Game Week 21, just to summarize, my transfers have been made. I have done Anderson to Gabriel with the intention to make one more defensive transfer in 2 weeks' time in Game Week 23 to sell Virgil van Dijk for either Chalobah or Tarkowski. It depends. We'll see the fixtures. I think I could even choose to go for Senesi. I've had a look at the Bournemouth's fixtures. At that point in time, Bournemouth go on a decent run as well, but we'll need to see some form of uptick from Bournemouth, because recently they haven't been playing very well. So I'll reassess again. But yeah, basically Gabriel in for Anderson. I've captain Haaland. Vice captain is Thiago, and I'm probably going to keep it as this. good luck for Game Week 21. I will catch you guys again in videos that will be coming for Game Week 22. And yeah, thank you for spending this hour with me. I will see you guys. Throat has gone, voice is gone. I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye bye.